We are jumping into our first lesson today out of your workbook. So, you're going to use the story, the paired selection out of your workbook. But remember, your assignments are in teams. Okay. So, when you finish your reading, and I've included some extra videos for you to watch, after you have read and watched the videos and you start working on your assignments, you can either work in your workbook and take a picture of your work and send it to me, or you can go back into Teams and do your work in Teams. Okay. So I just want to make sure that you remember we are not working online in the workbook the way we did the spring semester. Okay. You're going to either do it in your workbook and take a picture of it and send it to me through my email, or you're going to complete it in Teams. Okay. So, what I'm showing you on my screen is the first anchor chart that you will find in your workbook. It's on page 17. Okay. So, we are reading informational text. So, remember what the word informational means. The author is giving information, the author is going to teach us something. Okay. So, the purpose is to give information about a topic or explain a concept. We will have main ideas, details, and other text features that help us to understand those main ideas. So, I'm sure you remember questions that you've had in the past that have said, what are elements of fiction or what are elements of nonfiction? Well, informational text is normally nonfiction. Okay. So, the elements of nonfiction are giving us information. They're helping us to understand the message, the main idea, the details, everything that the author is trying to tell us. Okay, so we are going to learn something from this paired selection. The text structures that we're going to use are cause and effect, compare and contrast, problem and solution, and chronological or time order. Okay, and we'll talk about all of those things in more detail as the year goes on, but all of those should be a review. Okay, you should have learned those last year and even the year before. Okay, on the next page, on page 18, and I'm just going through your workbook in the same order that you have it. The paired selection that we're going to read is The Path to Paper Sun and Louie Share Kim Paper Sun. So you can see both of those titles have the words paper sun. The first thing that you need to do is preview the vocabulary. So look at the vocabulary in the box right there. Citizens, immigration, opportunity, processing, and admitted. So you need to look for those words as you're reading. And remember, the online version of your workbook will also read it to you. So either way is fine. I'm okay with either one right now. Let's go down a little bit further. Here's the first page of the paired selection, and look at the picture that it's showing you. Look at the mountains in the background, the water, the little village. You have three boys sitting on the edge of a hill overlooking their village. And then on page 19 is where the paired selection starts. So I want you to look over here. Remember, this is called a sidebar. The sidebar is where you're going to find those vocabulary words that we previewed. Okay, so look at the first three. Citizens are people who belong to a particular place. Immigration, the act of moving to a new country to live there. Opportunity, an agreeable situation or chance. And then on the next page, you have processing, a series of steps in legal action. And then it moves into the second story. Okay, let's keep going through our sidebars. Here's admitted, granted access to a place. Is there another one? Okay, so we have previewed all of our vocabulary. That's one of the first things we needed to do. Now, we're going to kind of backtrack a little bit because I want you to think of something that you have been taught to do in the past that is always helpful before you start reading any type of text, but especially one that you know you're going to learn a lot of information. Okay. So we need to preview these text features. So, what I mean by that, if you think back to what you have learned in the past, your text features are pictures, charts, graphs, captions, underlined words, bold faced words, any of those things that help draw attention and explain information in further detail. Okay. Um, Also, headings and subheadings, even though I don't see any subheadings. But look at this. This is a picture with a caption. Cher Kim's wife and children were detained at Angel Island. Okay. So we need to get back into the habit from the very beginning of doing those things that we know we need to do before we read to help us be more successful and to help us read with a purpose. Okay. So you're going to preview your vocabulary if it's there. You're going to go through those text features, look at the pictures, read the captions, pay attention to any charts and graphs that are there. Circle your headings and subheadings if they're there. All of those things that are going to help you read with a purpose. Okay. If we keep going, I want to show you something on your assignments. Okay. I have put your assignments and some additional things that are just going to serve as notes for right now into the reading handouts tab of your notebook. Okay. So develop vocabulary. You're going to take those vocabulary words that we previewed that you have read about, and you're going to use them in a sentence. Okay. Write a sentence for each word. Each sentence should include the vocabulary word and explain how it relates to the topic of immigration. And I'm going to um, get you started on this, and you will see that I have included a picture of my sentences and I will put it into your notebook. So, one thing that you'll learn about me is I really like to write things down. So, I know I could very easily type it into a Word document, but I like to use my Flair pens and my gel pens and I like to write things down. Okay, so I will show you some examples. The other thing that we're going to work on when you get to check for understanding is I want you to really try from the very beginning to write and complete sentences. Okay. And one way that we're going to do that is by recycling the question. So think about what it means to recycle. Recycle is you take an existing product and you make it into something new, right? So in this case, our existing product is our question. So we're going to take the question and we're going to rewrite it and make it a part of our answer. Okay. And I'm also going to show you some examples for this. So, how do you know that the Path to Paper Sun and Louie Cher Kim Paper Sun are informational text? Give 3 examples. Okay. So, how you could recycle this question, and you can shorten it up a little bit. Okay. You could say, I know that these texts are informational because, and give me 3 reasons. Okay. But I took the question, I reworded it, I made it a part of my answer. And when we do that, we're going to guarantee that we write in a complete sentence. Okay. Don't forget about your capital letters. Don't forget about your punctuation. Okay. I think that's all that I want to share with you at the moment. If you keep going, these are things that are in your notebook. Okay. They are not assignments right now. So it's not that I don't want you to look at them. It's not that I want you to just completely skip over them, but I want you to really just focus on what's in your assignment list. I don't want you getting overwhelmed. I don't want you feeling as if I'm just giving you tons of busy work. I want you to be able to narrow your focus. Okay. But go through everything that I put into your reading handouts tab and practice. Ask me some questions if you have some questions. All of this is serving as review. Okay. One thing to keep in mind is that by the time you get to 5th grade, you have learned so much already. Okay. And we are starting to just take all of these skills that you have learned over the last couple of years and just grow upon them and expand them. Okay. So you will see a lot of things that we talk about this year, and a lot of things that we cover are things that you've already heard, but we might just take it a little bit further than what you ever have before. Okay. So go ahead and get started with your story. Remember, you can read it yourself. You can let the computer read it to you by logging into your workbook online, but you are going to complete the assignments either in Teams or in your workbook by taking a picture of it and sending it to me. Okay. Don't forget about the different times throughout the day that Miss Edwards and Miss Geyser and myself will be doing live teaching. So it's not very much time, it's just 10 minutes at a time, but have your questions ready. Log in if you need help. I'll be there for you. I can go over anything in more specific detail during those live teach times. Okay, so go ahead and get started, and I will see you soon.